Okay, the materials for this practice include a battery. This one is 9 volts with its clip, so it will be easier to connect. We're going to need a resistor. This one is a 330 ohms, which is orange brown. An LED. In this case, remember, please, the LED, the longest lead is the positive, the shortest is the negative. We need a small switch, a button, and finally we will need a breadboard. Well, these are the schematics of the circuits. On the left we have the one of the motor, on the right we have the one of the LED. I'm going to start explaining the one of the motor. As you can see, we have three different components: the battery, we have a switch, and we have the motor. In this case, I'm going to draw the flow of electrons to understand how it works. First thing you have to keep in mind, if this switch is open, it's not gonna work because the electrons will not be able to go from the negative to the positive. So we must keep this closed in order for the circuit to work. In this case, I'm going to draw the flow of electrons. They will reach here the motor, they will go into the motor, they will go outside following this line. And since this is closed, they are going to reach the positive side at this point. So basically, if we have something here, we can detect if there is the presence or not of something pressing this button. Remember, in real life, that's a button. Same thing happens here, but in this case, we have an LED. If you remember, this battery sends a lot of current to the LED. So if we don't put a resistor, if we don't use this resistor, we're going to burn this LED. In this case, the flow of electrons is the same. We're going to follow here. The electrons will go into the LED. If this is open, they will not be able to reach the end of the circuit, so it's not going to work. But we're going to keep it closed. All the electrons will flow until here. So this will reduce the amount of electrons that will be called here by the positive energy, by the positive charge. If you remember, positive attracts the negative, the electrons are negative, and since we have a resistor here, the amount of electrons that will be called will be less, so that will avoid the LED to get burned. Finally, the electrons will reach again the battery, and the circuit is going to work. Okay, this is the circuit. You can compare it to the schematic. I'm just going to plug here the battery. And as you can see, it doesn't go on unless I turn on the switch. Once I activate the switch and I let the electrons flow, automatically the LED will go on. Here we have the circuit. You can compare it to the schematics. I'm just going to plug the 9 volts battery here. And since this is open, it's not working, whenever I press the button, automatically the motor will start spinning because the electrons will be able to flow. This is the way to control motors using switches.